Hello Kickstarters, friends and fans of great books. My name is Harry Langen, and today I am inviting you to join with me in revealing the secret of the Dead Sea Scrolls by publishing the Dead Sea Revelation. I am the author of this 490-page thriller, and with your help we can reach a global audience. But first off, I expect you might appreciate a little background on these mysterious scrolls. So I'm going to tell you now, with your permission, a little about this work, just to be sure we're on the same page. Drum roll, please. Well, that'll do. Our narrative stars Muhammad, a teenage Bedouin goat herder in the Judean desert. Back in 1946, trying to find one of his straying goats, Muhammad discovered instead an opening to a cave not too far from the Dead Sea. So Muhammad crept into the cave to an edge above a huge black abyss and tossed a stone over to try to figure out its depth. Seconds later, he heard something shatter on the floor of the cave. The next day, our boy Muhammad descended with the help of two of his cousins into the vast cave's dark reaches and did indeed discover a shattered jar on the floor of the cave, an ancient urn, inside which were 7 leather scrolls. He returned them to his tribe and the elders there. Not quite knowing what to do with these Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic texts, the elders hung them on a tent pole. Eventually they found a shoemaker who worked in leather and bought them for a few cents. Kindly, the shoemaker resold them, and these scrolls were sold time and again until they came to the attention of scholars, who began to divine their importance. By 1956, another 974 scrolls were discovered in adjacent various caves. The job of translating them fell to a Jesuitical group, the leader of which, a John Strugnell, was eventually quoted as describing Judaism as, quote, a horrible religion. Well, oops. Given that the scrolls were of Jewish origin, Jewish scholars weren't too pleased leaving them in the exclusive hands of these Jesuits, so after decades of squabbling and some suspiciousness as to why the Jesuits were so reluctant to relinquish their control, the scrolls and their content were eventually released to scholars everywhere and the general public. The core of the mystery of the Dead Sea Scrolls is found in the references to the enigmatic figure referred to as the righteous teacher. He was the architect, the engineer, and spiritual leader of this community of cave dwellers, then known as Qumran, a community mainly comprised of copyists, similar to today's librarians, bakers, cleaners, gardeners, and such, all of whom were necessary for the upkeep of this devout cave-dwelling community. Sifting through the text of the scrolls to find the actual words of the righteous teacher was a task unto itself. Excuse me. It was those words attributed to the righteous teacher which initially grabbed my attention and thrust me into an investigation of 15 years' duration before I could write and speak with certainty the name of this leader of these secretive Essenes. Allow me to read you a brief sample of this holy man's words. Quote, "From the source of his righteousness is my justification, and from his marvelous mysteries is the light in my heart. My eyes have gazed on that which is eternal, on wisdom concealed from men, on knowledge and wise design hidden from the sons of men, on a fountain of righteousness and a storehouse of power, on a spring of glory hidden from the assembly of flesh." Unquote. Now this sounded a little familiar to me, having been a student of Scripture since grade 8, when at St. Philip Neri in Toronto I was awarded a trophy for achieving highest mark in the subject, World Religions. What, no trumpet? Who spoke these words of such inspiration and hope? Who was this man of such power who won a following of devout intellectuals and became the architect and engineer of a subterranean complex of homes, bakeries, libraries, and irrigation systems in a remote part of the Judean desert, and in vast caves at that? Only the most enlightened teacher could have had such sway. more than 100 years before Yeshua, otherwise known as Jesus, did a man speak of a new covenant. That man was the righteous teacher of the Essenes. It took me a lifetime of study to divine his name. Without being overly intellectual, and certainly without proselytizing or in the least evangelistic, the dialogue and situations in my book examine the theologies we live by and puts to the reader thoughtful questions. For example, what if the theology you live by today, and you have been living all your life, has been off track and you discover this only when you're feeble with age and discontent? But the story also promotes the potential for success of the wise youth. Ultimately, the book is an optimistic work. The story shows the power of perseverance and courage and brings hope. And quoting the righteous teacher, it showcases words of light as pertinent today as when they were spoken to those devout cave dwellers more than 2,100 years ago. My book is a mystery story, and the reader must follow the breadcrumbs to get the gist, the effect of the last 2 chapters like a full-bodied wind stirring the sails over deep and tumultuous waters. Trial readers of the Dead Sea Revelation have been enthusiastic in praise, and the character of Gregorios Benedictus, a man of unrelenting appetite for the truth, and truly a worthy protagonist, assures the readers they can expect intellectual intrigue and high-spirited victory. Is this book a literary knockout? I don't know yet. But reviewers and trial readers have commented, quote, "It's pure heaven," unquote. Quote, "A work of spiritual authority," unquote. End quote. "This book now has me in a really tight grip," unquote. A few readers suggested that there were some similarities to the Da Vinci Code. True, there are. However, my original manuscript predates the Da Vinci Code by 4 years. So who was borrowing from whom? My copyright existed first. There is a sub-story there that can only help to move this book into an international spotlight, perhaps under the headline, "Vancouver Author Victim of the Literary Theft of the Millennium." Details of the editorial overlaps between these 2 books will be found on my website, deadsearevelation.com, currently under reconstruction, but I expect to be up within 2 weeks. But nothing deters from my manuscript, having been revised 4 times, and now with professional typography and a beautiful cover, the Dead Sea Revelation is ready to enchant readers of any curiosity whatsoever about the meaning of their lives. Readers who might be heartened to learn about the magnificence of the individual who uncovers secret knowledge and enjoys a profound sense of personal victory, and who also discover the magnificence of their own humanity. My fictional character, Gregorios Benedictus, invites you today to join him in his thrilling adventure. An adventure fraught with mortal danger, but guided by a subliminal presence, the presence of the righteous teacher. Sponsors will be supporting the creation of 200 beautiful hardcovers and 400 softcover first editions, and 100 deluxe, leather-bound, numbered and signed copies, and the kickoff of a social media promotional campaign and an aggressive outreach to American literary and film agents. Having been a professional writer, editor, and publisher of newspapers and magazines since 1979, one of which featured the last interview of the Right Honorable Pierre Elliott Trudeau, who commented to me, quote, "I enjoyed your editorials," unquote, I am ready now to promote with unflagging energy the Dead Sea Revelation and bring to light some truly fascinating and relevant material for curious readers everywhere. And did I mention film? Yes, I did. Yours truly has written the film script. It's ready for movie making, and that would be a thrill. The secret of the Dead Sea Scrolls will be revealed with your help. Now read on for my rewards package. Now, Olivier, can I have my popcorn now?